I don't know. Like, I'm a little confused. I mean, I know nobody's perfect, but I don't know. Even they like to say weird stuff sometimes here and there, and you know, it's like if they'd been through what I've been through and know that there's not a reason or justification, um, and how messed up it is to try and hurt somebody who doesn't deserve anything that I've been through. Like, they wouldn't be able to handle what I've been through. I know they wouldn't. And yeah, um, I'm almost reluctant to. I was gonna get baptized, you know. I thought about getting baptized with the church, and you know, I mean, I'm reluctant to. Well, wait, let me stop and back up here. If CO2 is being pumped in my house at the level that it was last night, all night long, if I fall asleep, I will not wake up. Okay. So if I fall asleep, I won't wake up because of the level of CO2 that's being pumped into my house. Um, there's a tester around here sometime where, and I gotta find it because that blatant disregard and evil attempt at helping people kill me. Like, I'm sorry, I don't deserve to die. There's not people after me trying to kill me because they have a reason. They don't have a reason. People do not have a reason to be trying to kill me. There's not a reason to be trying to kill me. Okay, me exposing all these people and all the horrible things they've done to me is not a reason to try and kill me. I mean, you know, you were not justified. You didn't have a leg to stand on from the beginning. Nobody, none of these people did. They are just pure evil people, and like they don't have any reasonings. And so the fact that they keep acting like they have a reason, or like they're mad at me, or like I'm some kind of a bad guy, it's absurd. um, I don't start shit with people. I didn't start shit with any of these people. I mean, I'm just a person that would have minded my own business and lived my own life, um, and always done my best to do right by everybody. That's who I am. But instead, I was picked on and tormented and tortured and had all these things done to me. And well, everybody sits back and watches. And I mean, now people sat back and watched my brother die, and um, people act like there's some kind of a punishment that I'm supposed to be paying, um, for um, speaking my own truth. Okay, if my own truth involves you being a piece of shit, well, that's my truth, and I have a right to speak it. And if you weren't fucked up to me, you wouldn't be included as my truth. Or maybe you would be, but you would be included as a positive. I mean, you're included as a negative factor in my life and my truth and who I am. And I didn't create that. So whether or not it pisses you off or makes you mad, I don't know. That's too bad. And that's whatever. I mean, this fucking maintenance guy, not Adam, but the other fucking weird loser dude who's like ugly and just like an evil person. Obviously, he's pure evil. Okay. I don't trust people that don't like dogs either at all. But anyway, so there's lie all over everything out there, and specifically when I came home the other day after being gone, the tree stump in front of my house, right outside of my door, had stuff dumped all over it. And I understand, they're trying to kill this tree stump, and it's part of what you got to do. Well, okay. You're gonna have to leave that one alone because I'm not gonna have lie outside of my door. And my dog's feet are burning again. He walked by and goes tap tap right on top of that stump, right in front of the Mormons, right? And so, like, ooh, you're scary, dude. Like, you're not scary, dude. Okay, like in my purse, right there, I could have just fucking, you know. So I know you think you're really tough, and I know you think you're really scary, but dude, I can finish you really like in a second, like in a heartbeat. One pull, bud. So, are you trying to scare me? You just trying to be what? I don't know you. I didn't do anything to you. And if you're a sick piece of shit that does evil things and I'm affecting that, well, fuck off because I'm tired of people fucking with my life. You think I'm some this, that, or whatever. Um, yeah, it's convenient to think that you need to hate me. I know, but you just don't have a reason, and I don't give a shit. And you're going to stop walking by my house and harassing me and threatening me and insinuating about a pile of a tree stump that you dumped lye on. I mean, am I going to have to sit here, you guys? Am I going to have to sit here all night again with CO2 being pumped into my fucking house at a high rate of speed at fumigating my entire world? Do I have to do that again? Do I have to sit here all night long awake again? Am I not now I'm not allowed to go to sleep either? Okay. I just signed a year lease, okay? Less than a month ago. Like, excuse me? You know, uh, I signed a year. Why would you have me sign a year lease if you're, just gonna try and torment me out of here or something? And it's not. And they're not tormenting me out of here. That's not what they're. That's not what this is. This isn't some campaign that I gotta go. That's not what this is about. Because this campaign has been going on for 10 years, and this campaign was happening the first day I moved in here, and I was directed specifically to move in here. So why would somebody have let me move in here if you're trying to get me out? I don't know, maybe just to cause disturbance in my life, whatever. But I just signed a year lease. So this argument that I mean, like there is no argument that they're trying to get me out of here. I mean, I feel like the reason that I'm here is because this was supposedly some good location to try and take me out. Well, there's not a good location to try and take me out when, um, when, um, it's deadly to try and do that. I mean, I don't know. And not for you, it's not good. It's not a good location. I just ain't gonna let it happen, no matter what, no matter where. And I guess you people aren't gonna realize that until I guess you're dead. I don't know. I mean, what? I, I'm probably it's starting to look like I may have to, you know, end up doing that. A CO2 test. That's what I'm doing. I'll be right back. Yeah. Thank God. Oh my gosh, I'm so happy. Okay, you're my boy. So that's good. I said I need a carbon monoxide thing, and that was wrong. I'm glad I thought of that. I'm glad I thought to ask him. That scummy dude. That scummy fucking dude that walked by. He's such a creep.
Hi, how are you, Beanie? You wanted treatsters?
Did you get your? Did you see this kind? Did you see this kind too? Right there, that kind. And then look, there's all these different other kinds. Another kind. He's really hungry. Really hungry dog. Very hungry. He's a hungry boy. You like these kinds? You like these kinds, Ernie? Beerman likes these kinds. Beerman likes these kinds. Beerman likes this flavor. He likes this kind. These are really good. These are really good. These are really good. You see me, baby guy. You see me. Yeah, that evil dude that walks by and says, I can't stand that dude. I can't stand him. Here you go, baby. Here you go. Here you go. Here you go. That's a really good kind. Do you want some more water beans? Then you want some more water beans. Then seriously. Hello, Moto. Okay. Hello. Here, Bubba. Okay. Hello. Just a minute, Bubba. Just a minute, Bubba. Here, baby. Here, bump it up here. Bump it over here. Here you go. Here you go. Here you go. Here you go, baby. Oh, thank you so much, Adam. Okay, Adam.
Yes, this is Denny. May I please get your first and last name?
Yeah, it's Kamala Shirley.
Thank you. If I can have you confirm your date of birth for me, please.
June 17th, 1976.
Thank you. Just one moment, getting everything opened up.
Thank you.
Alrighty, and then see here, and then how may I help you today?
Okay, so well, my food stamps, first of all, they got I guess cut off or terminated or something. I'm not sure. My income changed a little bit because I have Social Security now.
Okay.
I didn't before.
Not a problem. So it looks like you are active right now on medical, so just applying for food assistance. Is that correct?
Yeah, I'm applying for whatever I can qualify for. Yeah.
Okay, not a problem. And then would you just be applying for yourself today?
Yes.
Alright, just one moment here, getting the food assistance inputted in the system.
Whoops, sorry. Oh no. Yeah, see, there's so much carbon monoxide in my house that this. Hi.
Alrighty, and then since we do not have the paper application on file, we do have a program called a telephonic signature. The way that works is I read you a statement. As long as you agree, we'll conduct the interview. After the interview, I will go over the answers that you gave, plus one last short statement. And as long as you agree that it's take that as your signature for the case. Would you like to do that?
Yes, I would.
Alrighty, perfect. So I'll start by reading that first statement now.
Okay.
So by providing a telephonic signature, you understand that you must give correct information, follow reporting requirements, provide proof that you're eligible, and cooperate with food assistance work requirements. You must provide a Social Security number for all household members for a free stay of applied for one. Social Security numbers will be verified and used to check information provided in the application with other federal and state agencies. This agency cannot discriminate on the basis of race, color, national origin, sex, age, disability, or religious or political beliefs. We treat your private information confidential. If you have a disability, you may request information about your benefits in a different format, and you have the right to request an administrative hearing if you disagree with the agency's actions on your benefits. You understand that you can't be criminally prosecuted if you willfully make a false statement or fail to report something that you should report, and you authorize the SHS to contact other persons or agencies when necessary to help get proof that you are eligible. Do you agree?
Yes, I do.
Alrighty, perfect. And for for the interview, I just want you to know that there may be some moments of silence. Just know I am on the line. I'm just updating or making notes in the case. And to get started, if I can just have you confirm your phone number so I can call you back just in case we get disconnected.
Oh, okay. My phone number is 509-230-50 or There you go.
Thank you. And then address I previously have on file is 8012 East Cotaldo Ave, apartment 41 in Spokane Valley. Is that correct?
Yes, it is.
Alrighty. And there is an email address list as well, Camila May Shirley 1976 at Gmail. Is that correct?
Yes, it is.
Alright. Alright, and then previously we have your marital status listed as divorced and marital status listed as not a veteran of the United States military. Is that correct?
Yes.
You are a U.S. citizen, is that correct?
Yes.
Alrighty, and for race ethnicity previously reported to be listed as white with no Spanish Hispanic background, is that correct?
Yes.
Alrighty, and then for the address, the 8012 East Cataldo, is that where you're currently living?
Yes, it is.
Alright.
Oh, no.
And then, let's see here, and then are you currently pregnant or a student at all at this time?
A student. I am in the process of registering for school and stuff. I don't know if I haven't received my financial aid yet, so I'm probably not like super official. I'm not sure if I don't know if I'm considered registered or not yet.
Yeah. Okay, not a problem. And then, are you currently pregnant at this time?
No.
Alrighty, and the next 9 questions I just have to ask for federal verification of the food stamp program. Are you currently on strike from a job?
No. Look at you,
Are you currently fleeing from the law to go into court or jail for a crime considered a felony?
No.
Have you ever been convicted of welfare fraud?
No.
Have you received assistance from outside state, source, or tribe in the past 30 days?
Have I received assistance?
Yeah, so like cash or food assistance from outside state, source, or tribe.
Oh, okay. Well, the only thing I've received is my Social Security.
Not a problem. And then, have you ever been convicted of trading food assistance for drugs?
No.
Have you ever been convicted of buying or selling food assistance over $500?
No.
Have you ever been convicted of trading food assistance for guns, ammo, or explosives?
No.
And have you ever been convicted of giving food assistance more than one kid at a time?
No.
Alrighty, and last one of those questions. Past 30 days, have you won over $3,500 in a single game of gambling or playing the lotto?
Nope. I don't gamble.
Alrighty, and then moving on to income. Any income from employment, self-employment, or odd jobs?
No.
Alrighty, and then besides Social Security, any cash gifts, loans, or unemployment?
No.
Alrighty, and then where you're currently living now, how much are you paying per month for rent?
My rent is $8.25.
Alrighty, and then do you pay for utilities separately, such as electricity, or is that included?
My utilities are past due $700, and I need help with that. Is there any way I can get help? I didn't even think about that.
So DSHS does not have any utility services, but we do have a resource line that does help with that. So I will get you over to them as soon as we get everything finished up.
Okay.
Alrighty, and then previously we had the checking and savings account with Washington Trust. Do you still have your accounts with them?
Yes.
Alrighty, and then just approximately how much currently in the checking?
I think everything's pretty much zeroed out.
Okay, and same with savings?
Yeah.
Okay. Alrighty, so what I'm going to do right now is just place you on a brief hold. I'm going to go through the case, get everything updated, all my notes inputted, and I'll be right back on the line.
Can you retroactive? Is it possible? Is it possible for you to retroactive anything?
No, so for food assistance, I cannot retro.
Okay.
Alrighty, just one moment.
Thank you. Mama, get you different kind. I know what kind you want. Mama gonna find it. Just a minute. I know what kind baby wants. Mama gonna find it. We're gonna get you your chicken duck turkey. I know what you want. I know what Beanie likes. Beanie likes that mother kind. Beanie likes this one special kind. Just a minute, Mama. We'll find it. Mama gonna find that kind, Beanie. Mama gonna find that kind for Beanie. If that's a kind Beanie likes. That's the kind Beanie likes. Beanie likes that kind. That's the kind Beanie likes. Can Beanie freaking likes. Beanie only likes one kind. Beanie only really likes one kind. What did I do with your treats? You gotta find your treats, baby. Oh, look, I found. Look, I found, buddy. Look, I found. Look what I found. I don't want to try and do it right. Let's just look here. This is this. This is the kind, baby. This is being fair. Really likes this kind. I really likes those kind. It's the can being likes. It's the can being likes. That's the can. That's the Rilla can. That's the Rilla can for brain, because that's for brain. That's the Rilla can. That's the Rilla can. Do I know how to put it in? Yeah, I do. I do. I do. And I'm sorry about my fucking house, because I'm seriously, I'm way more responsible than this. I promise you. But this is all due to nonstop harassment and identity theft, and I know people got me labeled as this horrible person, but I promise you. It's okay, it's okay, it's our camera. Hi, hello, Harry. I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna do that, but here's this. No, I know you won't. It's okay, it's okay, it's okay, it's okay. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay, Mom. We're not gonna do it. Mom, we're not gonna. Oh, what? Mama, sorry. Mama, sorry, baby. I know. Here, you get in here. You get in here. Get in here. Get in there. You can't. And then you're going. That'll be better. Okay, that'll be better. Okay. You're right here with your mom. I know. But they don't like it, Ken. I know. Mama not gonna do that. Mama not gonna do that. Okay. Mama not gonna do that. It's okay. Mama not gonna do that. Mama not gonna do that, honey. Mama not gonna do that to her baby. I'm not gonna do that. I know. It's okay. Mama's right here, and I love you. I love you. Yes, I do. It's okay. Mama's not gonna do that. I love you. Go to. Where's her? I love you. It's okay. It's okay. I love you. Did you get all of your treats in there, Chef Craig? I mean, there's this Craig. That's a lot of treats for you, bro. There's a lot of treats. Mm-hmm. I love you. It's okay. You're okay, baby. You're okay. It's okay. It's okay. Mama's right here. Yeah, right here. It's okay. You want to give me a first? This is nice. This is kind of nice for me to lay down. This is gravel mass. Let's get on the mouse. Hey, were you way up there on the night? That was pretty neat. That was kind of neat. You want your interpreter?
Alrighty, are you there?
Hi. Yeah.
Alrighty, so I have everything I need to go ahead and approve the case. So all we have to do now is go over a couple last second items to complete the interview, finish up the telephonic signature, and then I'll go over the amount that you'll be receiving.
Okay.
Alrighty, so today in the mail, I will be sending you a rights and responsibility sheet that just states your right as a client to fair treatment and the right to file a fair hearing if you disagree with any decision made by the state. For food assistance, your responsibility will be to report income, and that is to report if you start to receive any income other than your Social Security. Any questions on that?
No.
Alrighty, and then I will also be sending you a EBT checklist that just states where you can and can't use your benefits and the penalties you incur if you were to use it illegally. Any questions on that?
No.
Alrighty, and then do you still have a good working EBT card?
I should.
Okay.
Yeah, I think I do.
Alright. Okay, so what I'm going to do right now is mark that you have a card. If you look for it and can't find it, I just want you to know all offices are open every day from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. where you can just walk in and get a new card if you can't find it.
Oh, okay, great. Thank you.
Of course. Alrighty, and all we have to do now is just finish up the telephonic signature, and I'm getting that pulled up now, so just one moment.
Thank you, hon.
Alrighty, so going over the answers given during the interview today, address is 8012 East Catalville Ave, apartment 41, Spokane Valley, Washington. Number to call you back on just in case we were disconnected was 509-230-9085. We just did an application for food assistance for yourself. Following people are fleeing from the law to go to court or jail for a crime considered a felony. No one. Following people are convicted of trading food assistance for drugs. No one. Following people were convicted of buying or selling food assistance over $500, no one. Following people were convicted of trading food assistance for guns, ammo, or explosives, no one. And the following people were convicted of getting food assistance in more than one state at a time, no one. You do receive Social Security benefits, you pay $825 per month for rent plus utilities, and you have not quit a job or reduced your working hours in the past 30 days. Is that information correct?
Yes.
Alrighty, and then just one last short statement. A signature over the phone has the same legal effect and can be enforced in the same way as a written signature. You've had your rights and responsibilities explained to you, and you will receive a copy of your rights and responsibilities and your reporting requirements. And you certify under penalty of law and perjury that you understand the questions and statements read to you, and your answers are correct and complete to the best of your knowledge. Do you agree?
I agree.
Alrighty, perfect.
Everyone
agrees.
agrees.
To go over the amount that you're going to receive. Alrighty, so on the award letter, it's going to state that you're going to receive benefits for both March and April. On the award letter, it's going to state that you're going to receive 351. I just want you to know that 351 you'll have on your card by 5:30 this evening at the very latest. And then tomorrow morning at 9:30, you will also be receiving an extra 149 to get you up to the max of 250 for each of those months. So a total of 500 will be on your card by tomorrow morning at 9:30. And the next time that you receive benefits will be on the 9th of May and the 9th of each month after. And you've been approved for $240 per month.
Okay, thank you very much.
Not a problem. I will get all this information out to you. And before I get you transferred over to our resource line to help you out with your utilities, is there anything else I can help you with?
Nope, you've been very helpful. I hope you have a great rest of your night.
Thank you. You as well. And let me get you over to our resource line. Just one moment. Thank you for calling 211. Press 5 for assistance in English. Gracias por llamar a 211. Para ayuda en español, oprime el 6. For language interpreter, press 5. I'm sorry, I did not get that. Thank you for calling 211. Press 5 for assistance in English. Gracias por llamar a 211. Para ayuda en español, oprime el 6. For language interpreter, press 5. Thank you for calling. Goodbye.
I don't even know what you're saying. Because I'm too busy looking for the fucking relay switch. Where is my damn relay switch? I know I put it right here. It's gotta be like right here somewhere. Well, at least I got a carbon monoxide tester. That was kind of bothering me. Not having one of them. Hi, you sure are nice. You sure are nice. You sure are nice. You are a good boy. I sure love you. Are you freezing? Are you freezing? Are you freezing, baby? Are you freezing? Are you freezing? Oh, I sure love you. I sure do love you. I sure do love you. I sure do love you, Brownie. You're my macaroni. Man, there's a lot of evil in this world. Like, and that boy is, he's, he's got some evil in it. Well, make sure that you're a good boy. You're such a good boy. I just love you, Barney. You're a really nice. Okay, maybe I can do something, besides fucking sit here and go like, durr. That'll be okay. It'll be stretched. You're okay, Brownie. You're okay. 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 You're with your mama. You're with your mom, Brownie. Yeah, you're with your mama. You're with your mom. Yeah, your mama loves you. Yep, you're with your mom, baby. It's with your mom. I'm pretty sure we can't be with any other people on this planet ever again. We just gotta stay to ourselves and be together. Just me and you, Bubba. We can't have friends. We can't know people. We can't do these things like people do. I don't want to be friends with people. I don't want any friends. I really don't. I don't even want to be around people, period. I mean, I don't know about this joining the Mormon church thing. I'm starting to think that people in public and things like that are just not a good thing. What's the point of community? What is the point of community anymore? What is the point of, um, I mean, you don't want to go and be around community. God, you look like a fucking weirdo. Fuck that shit. You don't want to be around community anymore because community is all sick people. I mean, everybody's a sick ass motherfucker. I just like, what's the point of being around people? I don't know. I just don't really feel like, I mean, people aren't together because they love each other. People are together for, I don't even know why. Why are people together anymore? Why do people like try to be with people anymore? Like, what is the reasoning behind it? I mean, what is the reason for any of this? You know, I don't know. I really do not know what the reason for any of this is. There, that's better. I sure love you, Danny. Yeah, so I don't know what the reason is for anything. But yeah. Whatever. I'm not even gonna look. I'm not even gonna look. Use this code to verify. I couldn't believe that firefighter was trying to tell me 0. Like, dude, your machine is not like you didn't even run a test. You just, oh, it's 0, 0, 0. Oh, you want it to make numbers? Well, let's go out to my truck. Yeah, if you turn it on, it's going to register something. Okay, it's not going to just say 0. Well, he was a jerk. I mean, he looks like somebody that I know, and I feel like maybe he was somebody's brother. And I know that's done bad to me. And like I do know also that the police and fireman benefit fund is an issue. Do you guys think that I want to sit here and fucking tell on people all goddamn day? I mean, like, no, I do not enjoy telling on people, but there's so much to tell that nobody understands. And, these are things that are not okay. And it isn't just, oh, well, you have money, so you have to die, you know? No. I mean, my grandfather had money. My dad didn't want any money, so he didn't. And like, um, I know why my dad didn't want money. And I don't necessarily want money either. I mean, but I want my treasury certificate that belongs to me. Okay. I do want that. And if I'm a beneficiary to things, then yeah, I mean, there's not, it's not like, oh, somebody else wanted your money. So somebody else got your money and hey, thanks, that was your service to the world. I mean, somebody's going to have to explain this to me a little bit better because yeah, well, It's not dead. I have to die. What, huh? Did my grandfather really not die? Look what's going on here. There's something more to my situation. So I said, yeah, like every single thing I've had to tell on somebody about, every single thing I've had to tell the world that's happening. Like, and the world's like, oh, nonchalant, um, is it's not comfortable. It does not feel good to sit here and tell on people. I'm gonna tell you that much right now. That does not feel good. That is not fun to tell on people and tell on people and tell on people. And this person did that, and this person did that, and this person did that, and this person did that. But when every single person that has done all these things does these things, nobody cares, nobody does anything. And if it happens to anybody else, it's like a big fucking deal. Like, oh, God forbid I fucking even look at somebody wrong and I'm out of line and I'm in trouble and I have the whole world after me. If these things happen to these people, it would be over. I mean, as far as they're concerned, it would be like on. So we got this stupid idiot cruising through, walking by me like, dude, you're stupid. And I'm like, I'm sorry. I'm sorry that you want to be some kind of a loser, some kind of a dick, some kind of a jerk. That guy does not like me. Why? Because he's a broke bitch. None of these people like me because they're broke. They don't like to think that I might have money. That's what it all boils down to. Did you know I love you? Did you know I love you? Did you know I love you? I sure do. I sure do again. There you go, Pepper. There, Pepper. Pepper. I sure love you. Did you know I love you? Did you know I love you? Did you know? Did you know your wait. Did you know your mom loves you? Did you know your mom loves you? Did you know your mom loves you? Sure do, Benny. I sure do. I sure do love you. Basic protection from carbon monoxide. Does this thing even work? Thank you, Adam. I love you, buddy. That was cool of you. You were sweet and nice to me about it. Which was good. Really appreciate it when people are nice to me. Hey, I sure love you. I sure do. I sure do. I sure do. You want to get in there? You want to get in there, Benny? Okay, bro. There's okay. There's okay. I sure do love you. I sure do. Phil Holtz, San something, California. San Diego info. Oh, oh. Um, Yeah, I do some weird shit, but I have seen that fucking card before, and it is a card. Right. Yeah, my life isn't gonna stay like this. I promise you. I promise you. I can clean a fucking house like you've never seen in your life before. And I'll clean this motherfucker up so goddamn nice. I'll have the nicest apartment in this whole place. That's who I really am. And that's who I'm going to be again. Because we're just pretty much done with these people. It's just funny. It's almost funny. It's almost funny. What a creep. Yeah, I'm not into that dude. He better stay the fuck away from me. Yeah, his name's Brian, and he better stay very far away from me. Because he is a major piece of dog shit. And he needs to die. Brian needs to die. He needs to die. Mm. No, I'm not doing that. I love you, Brownie. Oh man, I'm scared to open up my neighborhood watch thingy because I just don't want to. Oh man, it's just so. Oh jeez, it's just a lot. Oh. Hmm. I don't know why my item is being fucking held. It's just like, oh, good. Thank you. I don't want it held at the post office. Delivery attempt. Ugh. Mhm. What did I say my favorite movie was? It used to be Scarface. What is my favorite movie? Look at these fucking flies, dude. This is making me sick. This is making me sick. Okay. So when you're, how do you mute? I sure love you. He's such a good boy. He's such a my favorite guy. He's such a nice. You're such a nice. Mute and unmute. Move the volume rocker over to the left. Replace it with royalty free music. Yeah, but I mean, is there a way to mute out? I don't know. Maybe I'll just get blocked. I don't even care.
If you want to eat healthy and feel your best, you've got to try Kachava. Kachava is the world's hit. Thank you for joining me on the channel, Mazra. On this channel, I do intuitive, creative reading. So if you find the title and it resonates for you, go ahead and give it a shot. Make sure you guys continue to hit that like, share, and subscribe button, as well as turn on that bell notification so that way you'll know when I release new content. Now, with all of that out the way, let's go ahead and get into today's reading. Feminine energy. I'm talking to you today. It's blazing hot. I'm literally seeing like the sun beaming down on you, and it's hot. I feel like you're in a desert. But what's so weird, feminine energy, of course, let me preference. You don't have to be a biological female to be in this energy. I feel like you've walked past gold. You've walked past like mirrors, diamonds, jewels. You've walked past all of these things, but now you're at the edge. It could be reminiscent of like the fool that you're about to start a new journey, but this new journey is going to be a deep one. It's going to be you falling. This new journey could be you falling, but it's weird because I do feel like you're falling in love, but the waters that you're jumping into, they're thin. There's a thin place for you to land safely, like jumping into your feelings. The waters are not deep; they're like shallow waters. But I also feel like there's warships in the water. There's a battle. It's a battle brewing. There's carnage. There's wreckage. I'm seeing like warmen, like navy men, seamen that are in this water, banging their drums, preparing for war. But it's like you're coming from a higher perspective, and you're going to fall into these warships, these metaphorical warships, or you may land into this shallow water that is gliding or pushing these warships along, type of thing. All while, because a lot of them, their churches have closed during the pandemic. Their churches have closed during the pandemic. Family. I am on the mission field. I am in the Philippines. I am here.
If you have an enlarged prostate, do this 15-second Japanese ritual before bed to shrink it almost immediately.
If the crash retrievals are true, then all bets are off.
It's very hard for people to get their minds around where the real power is. And it's not at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. The reality is something much more stark.
They've been working on this for 60, 70, perhaps 80 years.
The reason why the government is talking about these UFOs now, they're getting ready for the next level of war.
Are these objects a national security concern?
They're proffering a narrative of a national security threat that doesn't exist.
I call them alien reproduction vehicles. They're made by private corporations somewhere on this planet.
Technology from Roswell from 1947 has largely been held back from us.
Portal technology, teleportation, whatever you can imagine, it's already been done.
The biggest secrets are not the zero-point energy and electrogravitics. It's the science of consciousness. All their communication systems are moving through the consciousness field and are thought actuated. The people at the CIA call it WSFM, weird science and frickin' magic. The transdimensional interstellar technology will benefit humanity.
There has been tremendous disinformation.
The media is keeping secrets with the government.
These are lethal, vicious people. And I'm focused on exposing extraordinary technologies that they want to keep secret. No aspect of life on Earth will be unaffected by it.
What you're about to see is true. No actors have been used. Virtually everything that has happened to you has been part of a pre-planned program with the object in view of breaking you down or...
Well, I should maybe not totally, but I wouldn't be surprised if it's total. How about that?
Would it be fair to say that you feel that what is wrong outside you?
As a result of the outside pressures, yes.
Now, I'd also...
I'd like to go further than that to say that I do recognize the difference between myself and other people in some respects, but I still don't feel ill.
This is psychiatrist Dr. Henry DeRost. What is the nature of this illness? This man has had a breakdown, in the layman's term, major breakdown, which psychiatrists would refer to it as a psychotic break.
But he certainly doesn't think he's sick. At least one gets that impression.
No, that's perhaps one of the most interesting and certainly characteristic features of breakdown of this kind, as opposed to, say, a psychoneurotic illness, where the individual is sick and, I'm afraid, very painfully aware of being sick. The psychotic individual certainly doesn't feel well, but he doesn't attribute the way he feels to something going on inside, but he projects it onto the world around him.
and organizes this very complicated organization with
His whole perception of the world becomes completely different. And as a result of that, when he's walking down the street, literally everything he sees, everything that people do, he sees a group of people standing, talking, they're talking about him. If someone laughs, they're laughing at him. And quite naturally, he puts this all together and refers to this as the organization. Have you any idea why this sudden surge of this program occurred a month ago? Why then, instead of a year ago or 6 months ago?
I was ready to be taken, to put it crudely, at that time, I imagine. That's when they decided that I was ready for it.
They decided that you were ready.
The organization again, or this, I refer to it as the organization.
Mm-hmm. And what would indicate to them that you had suddenly become ready to be taken?
They know.
They know how you feel.
They know the workings at that point. And they know enough about the workings at that point to know that I can be taken. I think the organization is very highly organized.
And that I'm part of it.
That's right.
And the whole hospital staff?
That's right.
What about the other patients?
What other patients?
On the ward.
I don't believe there are any.
There are no other patients.
I don't believe there are any. There actually, I shouldn't say there are no other patients. And there are not any. There may, I don't believe there are any patients.
In other words, the people around you are disguised as or acting as they are.
Stuff. We love stuff. And there's some really great stuff out there. But I doubt.
Good morning. It is Wednesday, April 24th at about 4:30 a.m. I just took 3 medications, Boost Bupropion and Duloxetine.
When I have an episode of hallucinations, I will hear these very loud voices very close to my ear. It's almost like a whisper, but it's loud. If I had to describe it, it was like if a shadow could yell.
Feeling a little deflated, really stressed out, and stress really exacerbates the symptoms of schizophrenia.
I have some concerns with anyone standing directly behind me. I have also seen these like shadows on the walls that come along with the voices, like a monster clawing across the wall. My name is Allie Burke, and I live with paranoid schizophrenia. The mornings are hard, especially, during the week. I mean, it's hard for anyone to get up at 4 o'clock in the morning. Me having to take antipsychotic medication, it's really hard to get up. I set like 5 alarms in the morning. And sometimes I still can't get up, and my dad will come in and be like, "Don't you have to go to work?" I am 32 years old, and I live with my dad. Paranoid schizophrenia is a brain disorder which can cause a multitude of symptoms. The way that it manifests with me is paranoia. I am afraid of being poisoned. So I have some concerns with, anyone like standing directly behind me, being too close to me, and also leaving my drink down where I can't see it. So that is an everyday thing for me, even with medication. Some things that the medication has helped me with is the hallucinations, such as the voices and the shadows that I see. I do, on occasion, still hear voices. It's in a language that I can't understand, and there's another voice that tells me that I'm useless and worthless and not worth anything, and that I should just quit and give up everything that I do. So I take these 3 medications in the morning. There are 2 antidepressants and 1 anti-anxiety. Me being tired is definitely a side effect of the antipsychotic medication that I take at night. My boyfriend and I are going to see a movie today. This morning, before the movie, I'm going to work on some stuff. I'm the senior VP of a nonprofit organization. Stigma Fighters essentially is a platform to give people with mental illnesses a voice. I do work a lot for the day job, and then I have my writing stuff, and I'm working on a couple of projects right now with a couple other people with schizophrenia. So it's a lot. It's a lot to do, and not enough time. No wonder I can't see. I never really realized as a child that there was something potentially wrong with me. I just thought that's one of those scary things that you have to deal with when you go to bed at night. The monsters come out, and that's really how I looked at it. Fast forward a little bit, I was in college and I started hearing the voices while I was taking a test. And that was the first time I had ever heard them during the daytime. The next couple years were really difficult. They started getting worse and worse. And I started seeing these like shadows around. So eventually I went to see a psychiatrist, and they prescribed me some medication, which would be many, many years of me trying different medications and trying to figure out what works for me. That time, they diagnosed me with schizoaffective disorder, but a couple years later, they changed it to paranoid schizophrenia. It's very scary to know that at any time, something could happen where you're going to see something that maybe other people don't see, or you're going to hear something that other people don't hear. It's not 100% that I can predict that I'm going to have an episode today. It is going to happen sometimes. And that, I think, is just the nature of how the disorder affects me personally. But there are triggers that I have identified for myself, which includes like stress and feeling overwhelmed. I don't know how conclusive this is, but there's some information out there to suggest that smoking or vaping can reduce the side effects of antipsychotic medication. It keeps me calm, especially in high stress days. The internet has been very helpful in connecting with people with schizophrenia. A friend of mine found me on my Facebook page. He's an artist, and he actually made an illustration of me. These are the medications that I take. There's books there because he knows that I'm obsessed with reading. It was very difficult at first because I didn't have insurance. My first doctor was trying to work around that. And at the time, the medication that worked really well for me did not have a generic. It's taken me pretty much since I was 26, probably till I was 31, to get the right mix of medications. So these are the two medications I take at night. Zyprexa is the antipsychotic, and the Ambien is the sleeping pill. I do come out here a lot. I love the flowers. I grew up in this house, so it's a good environment for me. I have no idea what any of this stuff is, but it's all so beautiful, so I love it. Come here. Come on. If I'm having like a bad day or I'm having some symptoms, I can just get close to the animals, and they'll always be there. They love you unconditionally, no matter what you're going through. So come on, in or out? In or out? Okay, pick one.
Hi, Allie.
Hello. It's good to see your face.
It's good to see you too.
So I wanted to give you a call and talk a little bit about the book that we discussed, kind of about, our experiences with schizophrenia.
I had a couple of suicide attempts when I was psychotic.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's important to include in my backstory as well. I mean, people saved my life. And I'm so thankful to those people, those strangers that stepped in and literally
feel afraid to do the things you know you should do, but you don't? Hey, it's John Asra, founder of NeuroGym.
How difficult it is to deal with narcissists. Did you get illnesses from dealing with them? I'm going to share 10 mental illnesses you get from dealing with narcissists. 10. Self harm. Is it going to help or hurt? But they do harm emotionally. They can cut far deeper and take much longer to heal than physical injuries. Even so, they frequently leave wounds that last a lifetime. When the emotional pain of narcissistic abuse becomes too intense to bear, we may resort to self destructive coping mechanisms. They use this to cope with feelings of isolation or inadequacy, as well as guilt over events that aren't their fault. Better to leave the narcissist behind and move on with your life in order to avoid self harm. 9. Anger issues. How do you deal with anger? In a variety of ways. Humans develop and retain emotions such as sadness, worry, fear, and even rage. People who have been subjected to narcissistic abuse for a long time may acquire a disdain for the world, themselves, and everything. Who experience abuse from narcissists will rant out their anger to their friends, which is not proper. So better to maintain the calmness in your heart. 8. Anxieties. Isn't it exhausting to be continuously worried? This sense of superiority leads them to assume that they are the gold standard to which everyone should aspire. This is quite difficult for people who are working with them. It means that they can never be themselves and must continuously monitor everything they say and do to ensure everything is to the narcissist's satisfaction. Hi, my name is Dr. Fox, I'm a licensed psychologist in the state of Texas and an expert in the area of personality disorders. And in this video, we're going to talk about children of narcissistic parents. And what we're going to do is we're going to go through 16 common narcissistic parenting components. Okay, so this is how they tend to treat kids. Then we're going to talk about what happens to these kids. How do they grow and develop? How do they tend to see themselves in their world? And what are some things in treatment that I focus on when I work with folks that are kids of narcissistic parents? So let's get into it. Please like, share, and subscribe. That would be awesome. Please leave any comments that you may have. If you have a narcissistic parent, how do you cope effectively? I think it's important that we put out positive information out there. That's really good for those who read it. I think that helps them quite a bit. And that's really what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to create a very positive environment for folks that do have parents, significant others, even themselves that may have narcissistic or borderline or other personality disorder traits or the full disorder. But this one, we're going to talk about children of narcissistic parents, and let's get into it. Okay, so the 16 common narcissistic parenting components. So the first one is that you tend to only do things he or she wanted to do, regardless if you wanted to or not. So that means that no matter what you are going to do what that person wants, it could be going to the movies, maybe your parents are separated, and your narcissistic parent had to go to the office, so you sit there all day. But they're getting their needs met. They don't worry about what you want. They drag you to without any thought as to how it may impact you, your day, or your interest. Now, he or she, that narcissistic parent, was not present very often and seemed to get gratification away from the family. So in other words, they will do things outside of that structure. All this work, all this thing, this internalized building sense of a burden, of being a burden. Okay? And we'll get more to that in just a second. No matter what you did, another component is the third, right? No matter what you did, you're never able to impress or please him or her. You're always letting down. So no matter if you got an A, right? Maybe the test before, you got a B+. So it's not the A that you got, it's the B+ that you got last time that's brought up to you, right? If you get an A in history, right, school age, right, we'll just say as you're growing up, so you get an A in history or a 99 in history, and you get a 91 in science.
So you're like, oh, look, I got A's. Well, it's not really an A. I mean, you got 99 in one class and you got 91 in another. I mean, you're not even consistent. It's like, oh, man. I mean, so you get hit with that too. It's this internalized sense of self-doubt that comes out of that. Now, how things looked or appeared were more important than your feelings, right? So you may not want to wear a particular dress or a particular outfit or anything else. So you're very uncomfortable. It doesn't matter. You have to present as pageant pretty. You have to present as picture perfect. You have to present as happy, as healthy, as stable, because that is that direct reflection on that narcissistic parent. Now, you tended to have the greatest value when she or he could brag about your accomplishments or complain about your failures. So you become sort of a chess piece, right? You become this externalized component or object that allows that narcissistic parent to then have attention put on them. That attention is that, Jimmy is such a failure. Sally just won, the national spelling bee, right? So it's great. Or,
We're just going to take a
Malcolm
little
tried
break
out for
here.
the
Bye-bye.
football team, but he didn't even make the cut. What's that kid ever going to be, right? Then
Whoa.
it gives this narcissistic parent that fodder to have attention brought to them
Whoa.
about the failures of the kids or the successes. So what does that do for that kid? Not only is that kid at arm's length, but that kid feels very empty and distant inside. These are all things that individual carries with them. That sense of burdenness, that sense of lack of connection, right? That sense of detachment that they carry with them as they develop. So that another one is that he or she tended to show that he or she cared through material gifts as opposed to attention or words of encouragement and love. So I can just tell you an iPad doesn't mean anything, right? And I love you. I bought the latest iPad. It's irrelevant, right? Oh, you have this phone and you have this thing and you have that thing. And it's like, see, I love you by those things. That's what those narcissistic parents do, right? So that when the child, right, grows up and then they get their teens, right, when they all kind of start to push back a little bit, assert our autonomy, test those boundaries, right? So we're doing that, the normal part of development. But that narcissistic parent can't handle that, even one sense of dissension. Yes. And then they quickly crush you, make you feel very little, make you feel like that burden, make you feel like detachment, that you're worthy of detachment. Then they do and say, I got you an Xbox and a PlayStation and an iPad and all this stuff. What that does is it confuses the child, because what the child wants is emotional connection. But really, the only emotional connection they have is to an iPad, an iPhone, an Android phone, right? But whatever it is. But it's not parental figures they want, should be designed to keep them safe, to help them feel secure about themselves, to build this sense of self-concept through trials and tribulations and successes as we develop. That's not how narcissistic parenting works. So the next one is jealousy of your achievements, opportunities, or looks. That prompted criticism and ridicule. Now, often you see this in same-sex parent-child. Okay, so mom, narcissistic mom, may be very jealous of a very attractive narcissist or daughter, not narcissistic daughter, that's not what I meant, right? But narcissistic mom, right, to the daughter. So we're going to get in what happens. Does narcissism breed narcissism? We're going to talk about that in just a second.
No, it doesn't.
But what I'm talking about is that narcissistic parent, right? Maybe she sees herself as very attractive, fitness nut, right? All that other stuff. And then here comes this daughter who's younger, right? Maybe she's in gymnastics. I don't know. But she's really attractive, right? Others see her as attractive. Maybe her friends say, oh, your daughter is so pretty. Your daughter's so pretty. That jealousy and insecurity breeds this contempt for that kid. Now, remember, the core content of most narcissists is guilt, shame, doubt, fear, and inferiority. And all of that gets triggered up. So what do? You put it on this safe object, which is this kid who can't defend themselves. So then you ridicule and shame that kid, right? Who then already feels like a burden, already has this sense of detachment, and now they're shamed, so they get this internalized sense of shame as they develop. So another component or characteristic is that he or she tended to see himself, see the parent, as very important and influential. and was entitled to the best, even the best children. So I did this for you, and I made this for you, and what do? You get a C in science. Well, I did this for you, and I took you to all these games, and you should be getting a home run every time you go up to plate. Nobody gets a home run every time you go up to plate, just saying, so you know, right? But that's the conceptualization. I did all this for you, and this is how you pay me back. This is how you show me that you love me.
You're okay. Mama love you.
Spinning. Confusion becomes an additional component as well, right? Burden, detached, right? Shame, right? And then you have this sense of confusion. I'm confused with who I am, what I should believe, and what my development is. There's great confusion because parents are supposed to be that rock that you kind of bounce up against, right? About what's right or wrong in the world, how I should see myself. We want to internalize. We want to develop this positive. That's not what narcissistic parents do, because narcissism is a maladaptive pattern. All personality disorders are maladaptive pattern that the person has developed over years. So what happens is that maladaptive pattern spills into the child, but not necessarily narcissism. We're going to talk about that in just a second. I want to finish the list of 16. Okay, so being what? That core content: fear, shame, doubt, emptiness, abandonment, right? Other types of issues. Notice, right, when we talked about the kid, some of that core content is a little different, right? We'll talk about that in a second. Okay, so then they start to develop this, right? But you learn behavioral patterns and strategies that are so destructive, and you learn that from the narcissistic parent. Another one is that others seem to like being around him or her, which is the parent, right? And he or she, right, sought out the spotlight, even if it meant demeaning his or her children. Okay, so other people like to be around you. So, but that spotlight, the way I can get that spotlight and be recognized, seen, perhaps admiration or sympathy, they feed on sympathy as well, is that the way that they get that is that they demean the kid. See how horrible my kid is, right? See how terrible my kid is. See how broken my kid is. And they use this to pull attention, because it doesn't matter, how it hurts the kid. What happens is that it's important that it feeds the narcissism of the parent. And that, of course, becomes habitual and over again, which becomes internalized with those components that we had already discussed. So another one is he or she is highly sensitive to negative feedback or criticism, and he or she would kick people out of his or her life who provided it. Which means that as you get older, right, now you're in the teens, pushing back a little bit, because that's normal to do that. But your narcissistic parent doesn't tolerate any dissension whatsoever. You have to adopt those rules, values, but they're all vague and inconsistent anyway, so you never really know what you can count on. So that goes to that inconsistency in your life, which goes on top of being confused, which goes on top of being a burden, right, which goes on top of having this detached sense. Okay, so as you're developing and you give some feedback, well, how about if you love me? That, of course, brings you back to, I bought you an iPad and an iBox and and what is it? And Xbox, not an iBox. You know what I mean, right? But it did this, right? So any dissension is just massive payment. And I'm not going to talk to you. We're not talking anymore because you criticized me, right? And then that parent quickly internalizes that and says, fine, we're not talking ever again. And then you as the child, because you have attachment, why I believe that we are biologically designed and wired to attach to our early caregivers, right? A lot of research that supports that. John Bowlby, the father of attachment, you can look him up. So you can tons of stuff on that. But that we are inherently wired, right? So are all animals on this planet, right? That we are inherently wired to connect to those caregivers to keep us safe. But if they're maladaptive caregivers, it doesn't matter. You still have that sense of attachment. So regardless of the age, whether it's teens, 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, whatever it is that you want to attach to that narcissistic parent, they then reject you. That hurts, So then it brings up all of these early issues, right, that we talk about, right, being a burden, right, and all those other things that we just mentioned: burden, attached, confusion, right, uncertainty. Now you've learned, don't be assertive. Now you've learned, be passive. You could even be passive aggressive in some instances, but you're more likely to be passive and internalize the hurt and pain than
you stupid whore.
Aggressive, even though you've learned manipulation from that parent. Now next, when angry, that narcissistic parent showed rage and poor constraint, including anger that was verbal, physical, or even both. So here, what you learn is don't upset that narcissistic parent, because if you do, they lose it and they get violent, they get loud, they go over the top, because what they have to do is they have to quickly, because they're not sure of themselves, they're not confident. So not confident means you don't have any patience. So then what happens is they don't turn down that volume, they ramp it up.
Where's the
ramp
matter?
it up
What's the
in such a
matter?
way that
You want
can
your
record,
treat?
which adds to that sense of
What are your
facility
treat, girl,
as that
Bradley?
child grows up and
Oh, no.
develops.
Well, here's
So
one.
next one
Here's one,
is
girl.
that he or she would feel threatened, that narcissist
Yeah.
parent would feel threatened
There's
when
another
you expressed
can.
yourself in an appropriate
Here's
manner,
another
or
can.
even when
Here's
you
another
used
can.
I statements and you said,
Bradley.
I was really hurt
That's for
when
you,
I
bud.
heard
That's for
still,
you.
that parent is going to go as if you were massively inappropriate. Because remember, that parent has to turn it up because they're very insecure, right? That core content, right? Fear, shame, doubt, insecurity, right? Inferiority, and all of those things. So they have to turn it up, be loud, be aggressive, so that you quickly is the reality.
Motherfucker.
Next one is that he or she had fantasies of success and his or her own achievements that were highly ambitious, but when they did not work out, it was someone else's fault. So what you realize is that there's no sense of responsibility. So that your parent doesn't recognize that. They don't take on the R word, responsibility, in their life. So they always deflect it. So you learn to deflect it, but you're very confused because as you grow and develop, you don't see yourself as efficacious. So the world will dictate how you behave and how you respond. And you are likely, that child of the narcissist is likely to gravitate towards negative, because of course negative is easier than positive, unless you're fortunate and you can get into a positive social group, right, that encourages self-esteem, that encourages growth. There's not a lot of those around, but let's say, right, so typically, right, you go through the negativity, and then when you grow to that, that reinforces all this sense of burdenness, all this sense of being detached, all this sense of loss and
come back up here,
confusion
Mommy?
and fear,
I'm up here,
all of
Mom.
these things. So you
You
go
come
back to
here,
that.
Mom.
So because
What's the matter,
that
baby?
narcissistic parents,
What's the matter?
those unrealized
What's the matter?
moments of success
What's the matter?
that they didn't
Come on,
reach
come
it,
up
probably
here,
because they
Mom.
didn't genuinely try, because they
Come
blame
on,
everybody
here,
else for
come
holding them
on.
back. So they didn't genuinely try it. If they
I
did
love
try,
you.
it was a
I
half-hearted
love
try,
you.
and then they got some type
I
of
sure
negative
do
feedback,
love
or
you,
they
Brown.
perceived to be negative feedback. So
Sure
they
do
just were
love
like,
you.
no,
You want to get up here?
nope, they
You
never
want to get
gave
up
me a
here?
chance,
Up here.
but they didn't
You
try.
want
The
to get
one
up
thing
here
we
and then
know
get up
about
here, get up here and
success,
then get up
whether
here.
it's in
Can you
therapy
do
or
it?
it's in
Can you do
life,
it?
is
Can you do it?
perseverance pays off.
Can you get up here and then get up here?
Perseverance pays
There you
off.
go.
Totally.
Whoa, you're
So next
really
one
good, boy.
is that, so we got two left.
You're really
Okay,
good.
that
You
he
want
or
to get back
she,
on
right,
your
was
mat now?
highly critical
Okay.
of others,
You
and
want to get
he
your
or she
treat.
was the
You want
one
to
who
get back
knew
on
the
this mat,
true
right?
fit
Once
for
you
any
get back
given
on this mat, and
situation.
then there's
So
a
they
street.
come
Look,
across
here's
as
your
having
treat,
all
and
these
here's
answers.
your
Well, I
mat
know
right
everything,
here.
but they
Okay?
may not tell you.
If you want to get
Unless
in
you
your
work
mat,
hard enough
if
for
you
it,
do
and
want to
whatever
get
that
inside
hard
of
work
your
may
mat.
be, who knows?
Okay?
Right
Well,
now, you know,
I
if
love
it's,
you.
you're doing calculus and you're
I
a
sure
narcissist
do
parent doesn't
love
know
you.
calculus, and they're going to degrade the sense of calculus. But very critical, right,
I
of your
sure do
calculus
love
teacher is
you.
probably an idiot. I'm not saying they are. That's what the narcissistic parent would say. Okay, but they know how to fix all of this. So sometimes what happens is that internal drive to attach to our caregivers. So the child says, okay, look, so what I'm going to do is the way I can be functional here and survive in this environment is to believe the propaganda, believe the narcissistic parent propaganda. And so what happens is you believe this narcissistic parent has all the answers, right? If it's the attractive mom or attractive dad who competes with the son and the daughter, right? Whatever it is, then you start saying, oh, you know, he or she gets a lot of attention, or he or she, you know, makes all this money, or he or she, whatever. And then you believe that, you internalize that, you eat the propaganda. And as you eat the propaganda, you engage in these behaviors that support it over time. So, oh yeah, my mom or dad have all the answers, right? So on and so forth. And you tend to believe that. But holding these folks on a pedestal only lasts so long, because what happens is that, you know, in our teens, we kind of start to realize, hey, you know what, our parents don't have all the answers. And then in our 20s, we start to realize, you know what, nobody does. You know, hopefully in our 20s, we figure that out. And then that gives us a little humility and a little drive to do things differently and see our life and take that R word, that responsibility, and really affect change in our life, because we really can, but we got to get that R word. And then the last thing is the relationship you have with that narcissistic parent is more like a friendship than it is parental. And the one thing, you know, when I encounter stuff like this, I like to tell folks, you know, your kids have more than enough friends, but they're only going to have one or two caregivers or parents. Now, it depends. I do know some folks that have extended family, and I think that's great. The more support that you have, even better. Narcissistic parents tend to limit that contact that child has. They tend to limit that social circle, tends to be very small, because the more folks that are in there, the greater the risk of being found out that you're not that great, greater risk of being called out, right? All these other things that activate that core content. So what do you do, right? So when I'm working with someone who is a child,
shut up, bitch.
Parent, what do we do? First and foremost,
I'll fucking blow your fucking pussy off, you fucking dumb cunt.
right? We know is a maladaptive coping strategy, okay, to put it simply. And then what happens is that
I'm sorry, I shouldn't let them get to me.
As we've talked about, and we're going to call just my clients kids for a minute, right? Because I don't work with kids, but as adults, right? But you're still working with that kid inside. You're working with that internalized, that introject inside that kid. So that still, feels like a burden, that feels like they have no voice, who feels detached, who feels misunderstood, who doesn't know what they believe. And what you
Oh, and I'm not talking about Adam. Adam was very nice to me. He gave me a carbon monoxide and formaldehyde radon tester. So
Shopping can be so time-consuming and stressful. Stitch Fix finds the perfect pieces just for you. I fill out this little questionnaire, takes like 5 minutes. I have a stylist that picks out the perfect pieces just for me. That pattern. Look at these shoes. I love what Stitch Fix has done for my wardrobe.
In 2004, Wife Swap USA took to the screens. Originally starting in the UK a year prior, the format was a success, and the reality show soon travelled overseas to be picked up by ABC. The premise was simple. Two different households, usually with dramatically different lifestyles, swapped wives and or mothers, or sometimes husbands and or fathers, over. They would spend 1 week playing by the family's rules, and then the second week with the family playing by the rules of whoever had joined, before reuniting with their own families to discuss the experience. 4 years into the show airing in America, in 2008, viewers around the world were introduced to the Stockdale family.
Values the Stockdale family band.
It's a hard life, but it's a good life. That's a good life. Good to me.
ABC producers were searching for a bluegrass family band specifically, and one that held strong faith-based traditional values. ABC found what they were looking for with the Stockdale family. The Stockdales consisted of mother Kathy, aged 44, father Tim, aged 48, and their children, 19-year-old Calvin, Charles, who was 16, 15-year-old Jacob, and the youngest son, James, who was 11 at the time. It's said that despite Kathy and Tim being initially reluctant to want to participate in the show, the four boys were eager for the experience, and eventually the family decided to take the ABC producers up on their offer. Kathy and Tim had moved from the big city to a secluded and rural area in a village called Beach City in Stark County, Ohio, to raise their four sons. They lived on a farm on Dolphin Street, southwest in Bethlehem Township. Tim worked a full-time job, leaving the house every day at 5:30 a.m., and Kathy stayed at the farm to homeschool the children.
The Stockdales were a deeply religious family, and Kathy said they had moved up to the farm to develop wholesome family values, and she and Tim wanted to protect their sons from shelters. Each person participating in the swap has to leave a list of rules that acts almost as a manual and explains the family's dynamics. In this extensive write-up, Kathy explained that the children were banned from watching TV, playing video games, listening to music unless it was approved by Kathy and Tim, and they weren't allowed to date. I have never been on a date, 16-year-old Jacob said on the show. There's better ways to find out about girls than dating. The children were homeschooled so Kathy, in her own words, could control their character and education, away from any influences of other students or teachers. She said that they ate breakfast at the same time every day, but if her boys were not on time, she would give them 2 minutes to arrive, and then charge them 25 cents for being late. In order to earn privileges in the house, the boys had to complete chores to get tokens, which would go onto a chart on the wall. They could then exchange the tokens for things like listening to a family-approved radio show. By all intents and purposes, the family lived a fairly secluded life, having each other for company. Kathy said, "Life is not about entertainment and fun. I do not promote a lot of leisure time for the boys. A lot of emphasis in the teen world is placed on hanging out with friends. We do not hang out. I insist that the boys have a focus and a purpose to any activity so that the boys do not become corrupted by meaningless relationships." She said that although she was raising her boys in a much stricter environment than her parents had raised her in, she felt it was for the best, given how times had changed. And ultimately, as a family, they believed that spending time together without anything interfering was the most important thing. The boys were very musically gifted and played in a bluegrass band with their dad, Tim.
Hello, everybody. How do you do? We're here to sing and play for you.
The band had elements of gospel and comedy as well, and they would often compete in regional competitions and perform at bluegrass gatherings. They were all undoubtedly very talented, and the family said they enjoyed any chance to play and make music together. Tim said it was a good way to teach the children about working together and for them to earn some money. Kathy would act as the band's manager, and together the band produced 4 albums. The Stockdales swapped with the Tonkovic family, who couldn't have been more different. Laurie Tonkovic attempted to change things up by giving the brothers more freedom, but she was met with fierce resistance. Laurie said, "When I switched the rules and I was going to let them have fun, let them have television and video games, and experience life a little bit, Jacob ran outside crying, and when I went out after him, I asked him what was wrong, and he said that his mom and dad would tell him he would burn in hell." After the wife swap experience was over, by all accounts, things seemed to carry on as normal for the Stockdale family. They continued to perform, with the boys often winning competitions for their music, and they carried on working on the family farm. Almost a decade later, however, Calvin and Charles had moved out of the house and area. They had also officially left the family band, although they did still play music with them in the home whenever they returned to visit. Calvin began working at Hillsdale College in Michigan, and Charles was studying to be a doctor in Philadelphia. 21-year-old James was studying business at university and was hoping to go into the business side of managing the family band. Kathy was still regularly uploading to her YouTube channel, which often showed the boys performing and getting up to various activities. Her last upload was on March 23rd, 2017, and showed her youngest son James in the snow, making jokes and kidding around.
Oh, hello everyone. I'd like to invite you to the 9th annual Stockdale Family Band Bluegrass and Gospel Show on April Fool's Day. You won't have to be the fool though. We got that covered for you. Click above for more details.
The remaining members of the Stockdale band, which were now Tim, Jacob and James, and a family friend, Joe Steiner, were still finding a decent amount of success. and the band was completely booked up throughout the summer. The Stockdales attended a musical gathering with other family members and friends during the month of June, and one witness recalled that Jacob left early due to not feeling well. In mid-June, they performed at the Wildcat Ranch in Ohio. Nothing seemed amiss, and everything appeared as it normally was. At 4:36 p.m., police received a call. They could hear nothing, and whoever was on the end of the line swiftly hung up. Whoever made that call remains unclear. When authorities arrived at the location the call had come from, residents alerted them to gunshots that had been heard near the Stockdale family farm. Neighbors said they had heard between 10 and 12 shots, sometime between 1 and 3 p.m. As police approached the property, they saw the door was open and a figure was standing inside. They then heard a single gunshot. They found 25-year-old Jacob Stockdale on the floor with a gunshot wound to the head. He was bleeding profusely, but was still alive. Upstairs in the bathroom, they found 54-year-old Kathy. 21-year-old James was discovered near a door. Both of them were deceased, having died from gunshot wounds that had come from a 20-gauge shotgun, the same one found with Jacob. Jacob had taken the gun from the home, shot his mother and brother, then turned the gun on himself.
Dead bodies along with what they believe is a self-inflicted gunshot wound on a third person over on Dolphin Street yesterday afternoon. They got the 911 call hang up around 4:30 in the afternoon. The victims, 21-year-old James Stockdale and his mother, 54-year-old Catherine Stockdale. The alleged suspect, James's brother, Catherine's son, 25-year-old Jacob Stockdale. He was flown to Metro Health Medical Center. A neighbor tells us they were part of a bluegrass band called the Stockdale Family Band. On that band's website, we found that the family was featured on ABC's show White Swap. They also released a statement early this morning thanking everyone for their well wishes and asking for privacy right now as they figure out what happened. We're going to follow this and bring you all the updates here and online.
That's Pamela Anderson and Tommy Lee. If this thing ever got out.
Tim was out of the house at the time, as were Calvin and Charles. Calvin said, "James, our youngest brother, has always been a catalyst of family fun. He leaves behind many friends and a family that loved him dearly. My brother Jacob is still in critical condition, and we are praying for his physical recovery as our family makes funeral plans and begins the healing process." He also said that as a family they love him and forgive him. A grieving Tim said, "Kathy has been my beloved wife of 32 years and a wonderful mother to our 4 sons. She loved nothing more than being a mother and grandmother. She had a strong sense of learning and was passionate about her Christian faith, natural health, and organic farming."
Yesterday afternoon at about 4:36 p.m., our office received a 911 call from the residents. It was a landline call, not a cell phone call. It was a hang-up call. At that time, after we received the hang-up call, which we do in a number of cases on a daily basis, we responded deputies to the residents. Upon arrival at the residence, the deputies noticed that the front door was open. They gave verbal commands. There was no response. And at that time, there was a gunshot that went off. After the gunshot went off, they tactically approached the house when some backup arrived and discovered that the suspect, Jacob Stockdale, had attempted suicide and shot himself when they arrived. They also discovered 2 victims in the home, 54-year-old Catherine Barbara Stockdale and 21-year-old James William Stockdale. Both were deceased as a result of a gunshot wound. Deputies continue to investigate the case along with the Stark County Coroner's Office. Once we have more information available on the case, we will provide it to you. Currently, the suspect, Jacob Stockdale, is in Cleveland Metro in critical care. Any
any run-ins with Jacob prior to this incident?
No, ma'am.
Not related to the house.
None at all.
You haven't been there, no run-ins, anything, it seems like a really nice, wholesome family. What are you looking at, sort of, any motive yet at this point?
You know, it's hard to, kind of surmise what the motive may have been. There's some speculation. Don't really want to get into that part of it, but we'll continue to investigate this case and try to determine if there's a motive. Just do not know.
Father indicate any issues that have been leading up to this?
None at all.
Mental health issues?
Never mentioned anything of that nature.
Did you become aware of this family? I know we're hearing a lot that they were performers. They would travel around a lot. Were they?
We're learning that as well. We were not aware of that when we responded. As was asked, we had never had a reason to be called to that residence in the past. So we don't have anything in our CAD or any information that we've been there in the past.
Jacob stayed in hospital for over a year, receiving numerous surgeries, including reconstructive and extensive treatment for his severe brain injuries. He had lost all sight in his left eye and was living with at least 7 metal fragments permanently lodged in his head. In September 2018, after over a year of treatments and medical care, Jacob was charged with 2 counts of murder, and he entered a plea of not guilty by reason of insanity. A grand jury decided not to apply the death penalty in his case.
Having had a chance to review the previous report issued by Psychodiagnostic, I am also going to be filing the not guilty by reason of insanity plea and ask the court to order the appropriate evaluation for that.
In January 2019, Jacob attended a short hearing with his defense attorney, and his attorney requested a psychological evaluation of his client. After this, Jacob was placed in Heartland Behavioural Healthcare Hospital, a secure state psychiatric facility, because he was deemed not mentally competent to stand trial. He was assessed several times, but due to the brain damage after attempting to take his own life, the results were often differing. He tried to escape from the hospital twice, first in November 2019 by hiding in cover stacks, and a month later when he was caught trying to blend in with people walking out of the institution. The doctor who had been asked to assess Jacob said he was confident that after a year of treatment in Heartland Healthcare, he should be competent to stand trial. The trial was still proving tough to get started for various reasons. Delays due to the COVID-19 pandemic had pushed everything back, and Jacob's complete silence during the hearings meant it was even harder to move forward.
Stockdale, are you able to hear me? First of all, officer, can you hear me?
Yes, Your Honor, we can hear you.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Stockdale, I am Judge Frank Forcioni. Are you able to hear me today? Okay, he is not responding. My first concern was whether they could hear, and the officer standing behind him can hear. Mr. Stockdale, can you see your lawyers here today, Mr. Kazanis and Mr. Graham? Okay, again, he's not responding, but he is seated there. Can you hear me, first of all?
Good morning, sir.
Good morning. Okay, you're able to respond to me today. Okay, good. Good. I don't want to ask any more questions beyond that. The charges here are very serious. And as a judge, my job is to make sure you get a fair trial. I mean, that's my goal on every trial. I don't prejudge anything. And I'm bending over backwards to make sure that you get a fair chance here, okay? So when we get to competency issues and evaluation for sanity, we're going to proceed with these participants. You have 2 very good lawyers. I mean, they're not good lawyers, they're outstanding lawyers. And I would have never appointed them to you if I didn't trust them. And I can't say enough good things about them. But they can only adequately represent you if you work with them and talk to them. This may be a strange environment for everybody here. But the justice system does have to proceed in this case. I am setting the trial date, but I'm also then going to have my staff contact Dr. Wood's office to get somebody out there to interview.
Dr. Wood was sent in to assess Jacob. Due to hospital policies and COVID-19 restrictions, hearings and legal meetings were taking place over Zoom. But Dr. Wood was asked to go in person to talk to Jacob. Jacob was still not participating or answering questions. But after a long assessment, she eventually found him to have been clinically sane at the time of the murders.
Yes, sir. Okay. In this particular case, there's been a report that has been filed in this case, and just to walk through it by Dr. Arcangela Woods. It's her opinion based on a reasonable psychological certainty that you are not suffering from a severe mental defect at this time of the charge, and she lists her reasons. She indicates it's her opinion beyond a reasonable psychological certainty that Mr. Stockdale was not suffering from a severe mental disease at the time charged. She's indicating that Mr. Stockdale, in her opinion, based on a reasonable psychological certainty, he was not suffering from a severe mental illness or disease or defect at the time of the offense charged. And an opinion regarding wrongfulness cannot be rendered because his defense is that he's asserting his innocence. So we have this report, we've done the competency, we've done several competency evaluations, we've now done the sanity evaluation. We have a trial scheduled for May 4th of this year.
Who the fuck? Is there somebody in the fucking ceiling, dude? I'm gonna call the fucking cops right now.
Hi, I'm here for
Your annual eye exam.
exactly. I'm here because I'm having trouble
Reading.
Exactly.
They sort of make me feel
Like I'm the most fabulous thing you've ever seen. Like lightning is running up and down your spine.
exactly.
I'll take them.
Okay, alright, so apparently, what the fuck is this? I'll blow, you know what? I hope I didn't just hear somebody say get out, because I just signed a fucking lease for a whole year. Like, literally weeks ago. Just a couple of weeks ago. Anyway, it sounds like somebody's up in the attic of my house. I don't know if you can hear that. Well, yeah, you can hear it. And somebody tried to break in the attic access of my house before. And it still smells like carbon monoxide in here. But apparently, there isn't any or something. Well, I